Okay, everyone, welcome to the CKLS webinar. My name is Michael Adamic. I am the Library Technology Manager here at CKLS, and it is my pleasure to introduce Diane, Bott, and Patty Collins, who work at the Youth Services at CKLS, and they are going to be your guides through the next 60 to 90 minutes, and we're going to have an awesome time, so I'm going to turn it over to them.
Good afternoon. I am Patty Collins. I am the Youth Services Consultant here at CKLS, and we are so excited. So many of you decided to join us today. As one of our librarians here said, ooh, 2 pages of participants. So we don't often get this many people for our workshops. And I got to say, it was really exciting to see about 45 people from our system sign up, but yet another almost 60 sign up from across the state. It's been a very, very strange year. Actually, it's been a very strange 3 years of summer library. So we're going to share with you some ideas that we haven't had a chance to share before. Maybe spend a little time on some things that you didn't get a chance to see if you have seen one of our workshops before. So I'm going to lay a little bit out about
CKLS.
I've been highlighted, and so I got really big all of a sudden. Okay, now, so if you've attended one of our workshops or have seen us at KLA, you know that that's kind of a loose style. That's putting it mildly. We like to have a good time. We want you to have a good time. And so over the next 90 minutes, we're going to share some of our best ideas. We're also going to give you that opportunity to throw in thoughts, make modifications. Hey, you've tried it and it worked better this way. Those kinds of things are things we need to know. And also let us know if there's something that we start to show that we got off track and wandered somewhere. Let us know that you want to see it again, need more information, all of those kinds of things. As I said, we're informal, but we're not unprofessional. And having fun at work, did you see Diane's eyes? Having fun at work is a good thing. So you wouldn't be here if you weren't charged with some summer library responsibility, whether it be the person who's in charge of the money or the person actually doing the programs. And we know that if you take yourself too seriously, your audience will as well. And so today you're going to see hopefully the best of us. I've put the jokes aside, but I can get my hands on them. I can get my hands on them in just a moment because I know right where they are, Diane. So don't make me pull them out. And but we do want to show you some of the fun that can be had. Before this day is out, we're going to show you the Google Drive where we've been gathering information, and frankly, we've been gathering since about April 1st of 2021, when our summer library program workshop for Tales and Tales ended, and you all started planning that year. We moved on to Oceans. Now, about Oceans of Possibilities, we're going to be really frank. We've taken the obvious direction with this. As you can see behind Diane is a coral reef backdrop, and as the air conditioner turns on, you have lots of movement there. The other one behind me is I'm going to scoot it up just so you can see. Ooh, so pretty. So there's, it is a coral reef as well, and it has the light shining down on my little halo there. Oh, and and one of our librarians, Terry from Beloit, also has one behind her. So she has a third one for you to see. But we're just trying to show you the best. We have taken the Oceans to the literal point of view, but truly remember that this is an endless possibility of ideas. So I'm going to take you on a little journey through the history of summer library in terms of Oceans, and remind you that there might be things in your building or might be things stuck in the back of your brain that you didn't get to do before that you might want to pull out again. So going back to my very first summer library program happened to be Summer Library in 1994. A Whale of a Tale. That was back in the old days when your youth consultants actually wrote your summer library program manual. And what I did is I pulled out the best pages out of that manual that I found useful today. And those pages have been scanned into our drive and will be available for you. if ever you're looking for something that's in an old manual that you remember using 10, 20, 30 years ago, CKLS has kept an entire record of all the summer manuals back to 1982. So I think that's probably the longest a librarian has been doing summer library. So you can access that information by calling me. A little bit later, we took the journey through summer library oceans to Treasure Your Library. That was Summer Library 1999. And then more likely you might have remembered Make a Splash, Read, which was Summer Library 2010. And again, the best pages from those 2 years have also been included in the drive. So I'm going to talk a moment about the Summer Library Program Manual. 2 years ago, when the manual took a change to how it was arranged, it happened at a difficult time because when we were moving into our first year program planning during a pandemic, you also had a new manual to look at and try to figure out. Last year, CSLP added content that was on the outside of their page. They have added additional content from what's in here that you can still access, but you do need to access through your online manual. But there's more information that they have uncovered and gathered up since the manual was printed. As you know, you get this in October, and a lot of you don't start really planning until October, or some of you might be planning starting tomorrow, which there's nothing wrong with, whatever works best for you. And so know that there's more than what's available in this book or online that you can access. If you have trouble accessing that information, you can contact your youth consultant in your regional library system, or you can contact Sandy Wilkerson, who is your CSLP state representative, and she is at the North Central Kansas Library System. She just put a note up in the chat, so she is your contact if you have a problem with anything with the CSLP manuals. So we are fortunate enough to have CSLP. There we go. Sandy put her email out there for you. CSLP is as our guide, gives us a direction. Some of our libraries do not choose to use the summer library program theme, but all Kansas public libraries are automatically members as we pay for a state membership. So if next year you decide you're going to go off on your own, you can always come back because CSLP is the membership that we have chosen to use. So that gives you the access to your manual, your posters, your printed materials, and then of course the wonderful catalog of all the cool stuff that you can buy. So that's just kind of gives an overview of what summer library looks like from the outside. You'll notice today that Diane and I will be pulling things in and out of notebooks as our ideas we have captured into notebooks. We've gone old school because that seems what to be the easiest way to work through. So we're just gonna kind of start here and there and grab a little of the best things. The first thing I want to show you is the cool thing that we found. So I do not work for Dollar Tree or Amazon. However, today you will hear us refer to things that have been purchased in one of those locations. In the Google Drive that we'll show you shortly, there is a section called Place to Buy, and we've told you the prices or the location of some of those items. I have to show you these cool little things that are here on my table. We found this set of little planters. This one's a little whale. You have your cute little octopus. This week we found the narwhal was added to the set. And then there's your seal. That one's this year's. And my favorite is the crab. These were all found at the Dollar Tree. Actually, we found some of them at the Dollar Tree in Iola when we were visiting there. The reason we show something like this, and a few times today we're going to show you some stuff, is to give you some ideas beyond the catalog, as some of the items in the catalog by this time of the year, frankly, are difficult to get. So if you're looking for different ideas for summer library prizes, and now we want to open up your opportunity to talk. So know that the chat is yours to communicate with each other or to communicate with us. If you came up with something that you just think is way cool and you want to share, if it's a craft idea, if it's a link to a video, if it's a prize idea, please feel free and comfortable to share. Now, before I give the screen over to Diane, Diane's making that face at me. I know that we tend to talk really, really fast. If there's something that you hear, you're like, wait a minute, slow up. We got Michael in the room, and another CK staff member will be there to kind of help slow us down and give you what you need. So Diane, I'm gonna turn it over to you while I get things straightened out on my end.
Diane, I think you're muted.
Hi, I'm Diane Bott. I'm the Youth Services Assistant. In other words, I pick up Patty's glitter. But I also have the best job because I get to, I'm getting a real bad echo from your computer. Because I get to do a lot of the crafting that we share with you all during our presentations. So one of the things, the biggest question I had for this year was, and I forgot to bring it over here, was the coral reef that I made. Patty's gonna grab that for me. Was the pool noodles and how to cut them and how to manipulate them. But I'm gonna scooch over just a bit here. And this is the coral reef, and it is just not thought out. But there's pool noodles here, there's pool noodles here. But the biggest question has been about like these cuts. So it really is not rocket science. It's a steak knife, which is permanently at my desk, and Patty is not afraid of it. So here's your pool noodle. And to get the swirl, you cut it. I don't want to jab my hand. I'm used to doing this on the table, and I don't know if I can do this. Cut it at an angle. Make a spiral cut up the pool noodle. Sorry, I knew this was not going to work. So that's just one slice, but you see that it comes apart, and then you just keep adding your spirals to it. It's not a perfect cut, but that's okay. Seaweed is not perfectly edged. And then just to do your slices, it's just a matter of slicing. Now, Patty went and bought an electric knife from a, there we go. So that would be like one piece cut out of another cut. And it would come apart like that. If you want it to stay together, don't start your cut at the bottom. Slices. So that's stacking slices on a barbecue skewer, bamboo skewer. And then there's just individual slices on toothpicks. So that was a really bad version of a tutorial for cutting pool noodles. Oh my goodness. It's been a long week. What else? What else was on there that, oh, artificial flowers. Leftover pieces of lamination, that's all in there. Potato sack, one of those net looking potato sacks, coffee filters that are colored with magic marker. What are you doing? Oh, okay. She just found another one I have to show you. So this little guy is one of the pool noodles that has the ridges in it. And these are not glued in. They're just cut out little triangles. But I'll show you. So it's that type of pool noodle. I sliced down the grooves, and then I took another piece and cut little triangles out and just poked them in between to make a nice little flare thing. Like I said, this is not glued. And whoops, I just dropped one. It is stuck in my coral reef with just a toothpick. Okay. I don't know what else you want to know about the coral reefs. If you have any question, there are a ton of pool noodle coral reefs out there. Oh my gosh. Yes. One of the things that I did read, and I don't remember where I read it, was they did a, the community is going to build their coral reef. So they had the supplies out there, and if you come into the library, you can make a piece and add it to the coral reef. And I think that would be really cool. So, okay, I don't, what did you cover your base with? The base is a piece of styrofoam, you know, the white crumbly styrofoam. And I covered it with that brown packing paper that everybody gets a ton of in your book shipments. That is it.
Thank you, Diane. So, oh, she's right. That is the biggest question. That is the biggest question that we seem to have answered as we've charted this thing from Wichita to Iola to Dodge City in the past. She had to rebuild it after an 80-mile-an-hour windstorm in Dodge City a few weeks ago. So there are probably pieces of it somewhere in Northwest Kansas now. I'm trying to find their way. But that is one thing that we've spent a lot of time on. The library who suggested doing it as a full community project was going to take the length of a bookshelf, put the foam down, and then cover it. And she suggested fabric till Diane showed her that the paper was, you know, something you already have and it's recycled, and allowing the community to get materials from a passive program station and let it build there on top of a shelf. So I thought that was a wonderful passive activity. That led us to a couple of really fun passive activities. One that is really popular in the library world now are the mini art shows. If you've not taken a look at those, this is my art, and here's Diane's. And we did our own assignment one day. We gave ourselves 10 minutes to paint something and put them up for show. The mini art shows that I'm seeing, they're allowing the people to either come in and paint and decorate. They're sending them home as completely passive take and make, where some are doing the work of putting them in, putting in paint or markers and things, and some are just saying, however you want to decorate it is good, which is great. And then they, you know, like a library did, they put out 300 kits and they got 280 of them returned because people want to display their stuff. Then after 3 or 4 weeks, they come and pick up their art. I've also seen it where they've taken cutouts of pictures of people and put them, stood them up on straws and put them inside an art show. And yesterday, a library showed a picture. She had made 500 kits, and she had high school students make 500 easels out of popsicle sticks to hold their little canvases. So that's can be a passive program, and you can see this isn't an age thing. This is something a preschooler can do, or it's something that an adult can do, and you might get something that looks a little more like this rather than something that looks a little more like this. So, Diane, would you show your take and make little flamingo, please?
Well, I'd like to talk about another passive one, if that's okay, for just a second. Those of you that have Legos, you can go onto Pinterest and find 100 patterns for building ocean and water themed Lego pieces. You can print those out and have them out. I made a little fish and a little boat, and those are out of just a classic, a set of classic Legos. So there's not a lot of really those weird pieces that only come with the Star Wars set. So that's another good passive one. Patty wanted me to show you a take and make that I found 2 years ago. It is in the book. Hold on. Oh. It is in the book Low Mess Crafts for Kids. I love this book. This is like Pinterest on pages. But it was a little flamingo. And this turned into my version of the little flamingo. He's got dancing feet. But you can see that for take and make, all of that stuff fits into a tiny little Ziploc snack bag. And it didn't take anything to put this, to get the pieces together. Take and makes are good for your teen volunteers to put together. That's a good use for when they come in. Okay, I don't know what other take and make you want me to show, or if anything. The what? Oh, where'd he go? So we did I don't remember, was this in the manual? I don't remember. Water trackers. So this has, ours happened to have a little dolphin keychain, and it is a, it is pony beads on jute. Remember all those little silly animals we used to all make? And as you drink your 8 glasses of water, you slide them down. And at the end of the day, you know whether you have drank all your water. And there again, these little keychains were cheaper than buying just the split key rings through Oriental Trading. And they're dolphins, and they come in a whole variety of colors.
As the split key rings are a little expensive, you can also use book rings, which are about the same price. The thing that we found was the most cheap option to those is the curtain rings that are kind of shaped like a light bulb, a shower curtain ring. There we go. Diane has one just like that. And so it gives you another option that's a little more, little less expensive. I ordered those shower curtain rings from Amazon, and I think I ordered 100 of them for $6 maybe. So, so something that was fairly inexpensive compared to split rings, which can go up to $1/4 a piece. Diane's over the gut full noodles. If you heard that squealy sound. Hey, Diane, do you want to hear a joke? Oh, come on, Diane. Do you want to hear a joke? Hey, Diane, how do you make an octopus laugh?
You give him tentacles.
Okay,
I knew that one.
Okay, so how do you make him blush?
That I don't know.
He saw the seaweed. The seaweed, get it? When the seaweed. Diane pretends she does not like my jokes.
It never ends. It never, never, never ends.
Okay, Diane, you ready? What do mermaids sleep on?
I don't know, Patty. What do mermaids sleep on?
Water beds. What's the best tool in the ocean?
I don't know, Patty. What is the best tool in the ocean?
A hammerhead shark. Okay, one more joke. Ready? How do you cut the ocean in half?
I don't know. How do you cut the ocean in half?
With a seesaw.
Okay, folks, you have to remember you're not paying for this. This is free entertainment for you. Just keep that in mind, please.
I had to break the tension. It was getting a little intense in here. So, hey, see, they're laughing. See, it's hard to figure it out when they're not all in the room with you. So I have been hunting down sea jokes for a while. And Diane doesn't appreciate them, but there are a lot of really cool ones out there. So I found on artsyfartsymama.com is where I found my great.
Did you like the name?
I said artsy fartsy. And then this one I just read from, because Diane has not heard these before, 52 ocean jokes that are sure make your kid chuckle. Are sure to make your kid chuckle. So I will save some of those for a little bit later. Hey, I have to tell you about this book. I had to hunt all over for this book. This is called Bob and Shirley, A Tale of Two Lobsters. Diane was less impressed than I was. This is a book by Harriet Ziefer. It's from the early 90s. I actually did this one when I did that very first summer library program in 1994. But this is one of those stories. It's actually ripped from the headlines, just like Law and Order. This is Bob and Shirley were captured in a lobster net. They figured out that by her size, Shirley must have been at least 45 years old. And Bob was much younger, but they meant, he was like 38. They were caught in the net together, and they were taken to they were caught in Boston, and they were taken to a place in Philadelphia, and were stuck in the window of a seafood shop. And the guy that was the owner of the shop thought it would be really cool to show them off. So, here they are in the window. And then somebody came and asked to buy them. And it says, for the store owner asked for Bob 128 and for Shirley 160. But if you take them both, $270. It's a deal, he said. I'll be back on Friday. But by the end of the week, people were in uproar because Bob and Shirley were to be sold, and he was getting all kinds of bad press. The lobster people did not want Bob and Shirley to go away. So since he didn't like having people outside of his store, the person who wanted to buy them agreed to buy other lobsters. And the nice man store put them back in their crate, flew them back, and they were released back into the sea. And another lobster lifted Shirley onto the same boat. They pulled away from the dock and headed out to the open sea. After half an hour, he stopped, cut the bands from Bob's claws. He put him back to the sea. He's back where he belongs, he says. And this is a science puffin, easy to read book. So it does have a little bit of sciencey stuff in the back, but it is based on a true story. And so if you're looking for something really short to share with preschoolers about a real animal with really fun pictures, you got to read Bob and Shirley. It is very hard to find. I had to buy it used on Amazon, but I got almost pristine copies for $6. So it was completely worth it. I do know it's out there in Kansas libraries because I did hunt it down in our library alone to try to let Diane let me buy it. So I just bought it and I didn't tell her.
But I think she really likes the story because something about Friends, the TV show.
It was her lobster. Some people will get that. And Diane is not TV people like I am. So, you know, but you'll see, yeah, Michael got it. So one of our easiest things that we didn't show at an earlier workshop for that early literacy group is the most obvious thing that we didn't think about. We went on Amazon and we found this wonderful box of seashells. We paid the real money for this one. They cost us $6 and had all different kinds and colors of different seashells. A great passive activity for you to have them out to sort. This can be from that very little up to that. I mean, Diane and I did it for 10 minutes one day, so I'm not saying anything about the age that it has to take. But to sit there and sort the shells to truly look through the treasure that's in here, we were shocked to find some of these cool things that were in here. So such an easy way to do a sorting activity that doesn't cost much. And we found that a lot of us have this kind of stuff floating around in our houses. Diane has some seashells that she'll show you that she has found at the thrift stores, and of course Dollar Tree does have a variety of things on the same lines of the early literacy stuff. Whoa, Diane has.
Say something real quick, Patty. You know, you're going to set those shells out, and you're just going to let the kids play with them, and they don't need to be policed, because you got a whole tub of them for $6. And if one kid falls in love with one and has to take that shell home, whether they tell you or not, it's not a big deal. It's not. If that one little seashell is that child's pleasure for however long, and he can say, I got it at the library, that's a good thing. Don't make a big deal out of something that small walking out.
Yes, Linda. We do sometimes call those things that magically walk away from our libraries the cost of doing business, but you're probably not going to miss that one seashell. If it's part of a kit, you probably have already put them all together and made that kit, and then these are the extra pieces that are out there for play. Diane, we found a fun little video. I'm going to show you a little song that we found since we're talking about something kind of related to those very young. Diane was nice enough to draw you some patterns of some creatures that are in this song called The Slippery Fish. I'm going to share my screen now and pull that up so I can show you that video. Okay. Apparently Diane's going to take this moment to run away as quickly as she can. Here we go. Okay, Michael, are you seeing a screen that says slippery fish?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, move it into theater mode. And I'm going to turn up my audio so you can hear the little song. The words and the pictures are included in the drive, but I'm going to show you the actual video. It's about a minute and a half long.
We don't have any audio, Patty.
Michael?
When you go ahead and stop sharing, and then when you go back to sharing, it should give you an option to share with audio.
Under the 3 dots.
There's a checkbox that says share sound.
Diane's over there giggling. Michael, I can't share my audio. Tell me again. Okay, I will come back to that as Diane's over there making me laugh.
We have a couple questions in chat.
Okay, let's go for it.
Does any have a good, from Amy at Otis, it says, does anybody have a good DIY recipe for a dino/fossil dig, but to dig out fishy friends while being able to see the imprint?
Yes, there's a lot of them out there, but I shared a while back how to do just the imprint with, okay, where's my screen? With just Play-Doh. I can't see myself here, so I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, with just Play-Doh, and it was, you can use homemade Play-Doh, but wouldn't it be easy enough to bury your sea creature in there and form it around? I don't know. There's lots of DIY clay recipes. The girls upstairs were working on one here a couple of weeks ago, and they actually found, look, his little tentacles sticking out. They came up with a good recipe, so I might get that from them and share that out on our Google Drive. But I don't know about keeping, if you're wanting it something for them to dig out, I don't know how much it would crack during the drying time for them to dig the fossil out. I don't know, because this Play-Doh really left some cracks when it dried. No,
She
that's
says-
this. That's just regular Play-Doh.
Amy says the Play-Doh idea is good too. Connie at Agra said she put up a fish net and now is needing to figure out how to attach her seashells. Help.
So to attach seashells to a net, you have a couple of options. Probably the easiest one would be fishing line, since you can actually hot glue to seashells and it would be easy to remove. If there's already holes in the seashells, and some of them are going to have that, you're going to be able to go actually run fishing line through. And so that would save you a little bit of work and removing the glue later. And if you tie bunches up together in something like a potato sack or something like that, you could get away with it. And there's some amazing printables that you can find out there. So if you want big seashells, you can find some amazing printables, and with some well-placed cuts, you can make them seashell shaped by a little bit of tape or a little bit of little staple to give them some dimension. And so those are some ways to put something kind of a large display item without having to do too much work. Diane said that cornstarch and water have worked to make the goo. Go ahead.
Linda from Scandia had said that they made goo and hid dino bones in it. And she says, you know, the stuff that looks like it's solid, but it'll pour. And I think that's probably cornstarch and water. And that's a really cool way to do your dino dig. Now, it's not going to leave an imprint, but you know, if you push on cornstarch and water a certain way, it gets rock solid. So I think that would be cool. Kinetic sand. Oh yes. My grandson loves kinetic sand. So oobleck, yes, that's another good one. You're talking about digging in to find the sea creatures. I made a mistake and ordered these little tiny foam cubes. They were supposed to be bigger. In my defense, that's what the website said. So we had like 6 bags of these little tiny foam cubes. It's on my desk. No, I don't know where it is. So I'm doing a, they fit in a shoebox, and I made, I know, I made, dang it, pipe cleaner fish for a fishing game out of it. There it is. There it is. Ta-da! She found it. So yeah, these little tiny, tiny, tiny cubes were not going to work for anything else. They are very little. And I just made pipe cleaner fish of different sizes. And then their fishing hooks are on a little tiny popsicle stick, and it's just basically fishing them out of what? I did. You weren't paying attention. They saw it. Y'all saw it, right? If you didn't, I'll show it again. Okay, I have not used this alien tape. Can somebody tell me more about that? Nope.
Terry,
Okay.
The alien tape is reusable and it's heavy duty. You can use it on walls or basically anything. And it's pretty strong tape and should be able to hold the seashells and on the fish net.
Where would I buy alien tape? Is that an Amazon thing?
Walmart, Dillon's, anything.
You can
Is
get
it-
it at Amazon or Walmart.
would it be in the hardware or crafting, or where would you?
Maybe in the hardware area is where I seen it.
Okay, thank you.
You're
At
welcome.
Walmart, I found it in the paint department next to painter's tape and the Gorilla tape and all that stuff.
Okay. Thank you so much for letting us know. You can expect when Diane and I get a hold of alien tape that there's some whole new learning there. Amy from the Great Bend Library does Dinovember every year, and she hides her she hides her little pieces of dinosaurs and things inside sand and uses large paintbrushes for them to uncover them. But you could do that with shells or other little sea creatures. And Diane has a plethora of little sea creatures over there to use for a variety of things. So thank you for putting the alien tape information in the chat. You guys are always most helpful in adding the things that we need to do our jobs better. So thank you for that. Okay, now we're going to try the slippery fish again. Let's see if I'm doing better. Share screen. Share sound.
Slippery fish, sliding through the water. Slippery fish, slippery fish. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh no, it's been eaten by a octopus, octopus, sparkling in the water. Octopus, octopus, ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh no, it's been eaten by a tuna fish, flashing through the water. Tuna fish, tuna fish. Oh no, it's been lurking in the water. Great white shark, great white shark. Oh no, it's been eaten by a humongous whale, spouting in the water. Humongous whale, humongous whale.
With MailChimp, you can design.
Oh. So that's one that really cracked us up. Diane has made the pieces and they will be available on Drive, and the words are out there as well. So we sent the link to the YouTube video as another piece of that. So one of the things that I left for a while, and when I come back and leave Diane alone to craft, sometimes she makes things that make me happy. I really like the activities where we can highlight the children. And one of those activities we came up with was the legs of an octopus, doing the paper chain, where you can put either their name or mark their visit to a library, maybe something that they read, maybe the length of time that they read, but a way that in a smaller library, not necessarily a great big one, but in a smaller library, you might be able to highlight the children. So Diane has made a porthole with a piece of cardboard. These are water bottle lids, because you're going to see that she used water bottles for a lot of things. Water bottle lids that she colored with a magic marker. And then there's a picture of Miss Patty in there. I'm very happy to be there. That's me on the water in Vermont, I think. And Lake Champlain, she says. And so this would be a way that you could have a series of these on the wall. If you have access to a Cricut or a die press machine, cutting out cardboard is a lot of work, but cutting out double circles out of a die press machine or a Cricut goes a whole lot faster. Or again, this might be one of those activities that you borrow really good teenagers or junior volunteers to be able to do the work for you. And what fun, even if you can't do photos, to allow the child to draw their own photo and to be able to place those on the wall as something super fun.
Yeah, what do you see out of your porthole? Do you see an island? Do you just see the water? Do you see fish? That'd be cool.
So speaking of things that make you think, Diane, what you see is a ordinary salad dressing bottle kind of thing.
It was wine.
Okay, Diane said it was wine. That's why we have Diane around. So Diane brought me this bottle because I said I wanted to do message in a bottle. And we've talked about a couple of different ways to do this activity. So you might actually do this as a passive program where the whole community could get involved. If you have a wall or a door or a bulletin board that's empty side of a file cabinet, you're going to find that when we talk about ideas, you don't need to have something as big as what we have behind us. Whatever space you've got is going to be the space that works, because the space that you have is going to match your community. So if you've got 3,000 people, you have 30,000 square feet, so you've got something to work with. So in this case, we suggested perhaps maybe just a sign up or a bulletin board or something, and say, if you were to find a message in the bottle, what would you want it to say? Or if you were to find a message in the bottle, what would you not want it to say? I know Michael has a really good answer to one of these. Michael, please share.
Okay, my answer was, we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
And of course, that's what the phone call that we all wait for.
Yes.
One of our other staff also came up with today's winning lottery numbers are, and of course, if you're on a desert island and you found the bottle, they do you absolutely no good. Diane came up with don't open the bottle when of course it's too late. So we might want to think about what kind of message might be in that bottle from a few other additions that people have communicated and shared with us. One library is doing this activity on a smaller scale in these little tiny ones you can buy from Hobby Lobby or Dollar Tree. And they thought that they would send a message to each summer library person. Send a message at the beginning of the season and then let them read the message then and then see what the transformation might be. I've seen this done with a letter at the beginning of a semester, at the beginning of a school year to a child, or having a summer library program participant write a goal inside, and then they get to open the bottle at the end of the season and see did they meet their goal, or you know, what else might be in that little tiny bottle. We of course know that we have seen these before as we use them for Universe of Stories. They have several different sizes, but now they're not, you can buy them at Dollar Tree. You don't have to buy them at Hobby Lobby anymore, which is awesome. But tiny seashells, sand, other trinkets that might go inside of that bottle. I've also seen these made into a necklace with a message inside, and I put that on our Pinterest board and also a link in our Google Drive as well. Diane's sending messages in the chat. Something similar to that. A few years ago, we really got on this rock hunting frenzy with Libraries Rock. Well, something else sustainable that you can do that with is seashells. These are the seashells that you can buy at Dollar Tree. There we go. Those are all words that are hard for me. And inside we've just written, this one says hashtag Oceans of Possibilities. This one just says visit the library. Today on Diane and I's morning walk, we found 2 painted rocks. And I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna hit this with seashells soon. Inside, Diane wrote, bring this shell to the library to enter in for a prize. So something very simple, sustainable, can be out there in the world, be picked up by somebody, and moved on to, whoops, sorry about that, moved on to the next person.
And the prize doesn't have to be something big. It can be a bookmark. It can be a piece of chocolate. It doesn't spend a lot of money on prizes for this type of activity.
Right now, Dollar Tree has the shiny seashells that are Easter eggs. Inside this one, we've put a little pack of sixlets because those are the pearls of wisdom. It says, mistakes make people. And Diane went through and made about 80 different little messages and tucked them inside of these little seashells. And yesterday, out on one of the library program interest groups on Facebook, somebody was taking the same concept of hiding Easter eggs in the library, and someone finds the Easter egg, they bring it to a service desk, they get to exchange it for a piece of candy, but inside of there for April are jokes. And so they did little silly jokes. And so they come and they read the librarian the joke, they get to exchange it for a piece of candy. They either get to put in their own joke, of course, library appropriate and clean, or they get to choose one out of the bucket. They put the pieces back in the egg, and they go hide it around the library somewhere else for someone else to find. You could do the same thing with this. We chose Pearls of Wisdom. When Diane wrote these, she wrote some that are very fortune cookie-y like, and then she wrote some that are very Diane-like. So they were kind of fun and silly, but this could be something you could also hide out in your community, have someone bring the message inside or bring the container back to the library in exchange for an entry into something or something of that nature.
Sandy also made the point that sixlets are nut-free and gluten-free. So it's kind of one of those almost safe candies. And then someone else, oh, Terry, we're going to use those seashells with idea of reading books for the kids and adults. So book titles in the seashells. Is that what you're thinking, Terry? Okay, and Amy is planning on hiding fish or aquatic friends around the library for people to find for a treat. Skittles and fruit snacks have been a huge hit, and we just did that with the gnomes. Yes, finding the gnomes. This year it was find the little astronauts. One other thing with the real seashells, I saw this on Pinterest a couple of nights ago and decided that I was going to try it, but they're the seashells that have a sparkly inside like a geode. Now it called for rock salt as your sparklies. I didn't find rock salt, but I did, but I didn't want to buy 25 pounds of it. So I used sea salt that comes in one of the grinder bottles and just cut the bottle open and colored it with food coloring. And then it's put inside the shell with Mod Podge. And I put in 2 layers. So that's one that has to dry, but also kind of a cool little activity with your real seashells.
Ice cream salt.
Yes, rock salt, ice cream salt, yes. Same thing, exactly. And I went to Dollar Tree because I know they used to have a small bag in there, but they were completely out, and this was last minute, of course. So so I did buy the sea salt, and it doesn't sparkle quite like the picture of the rock salt. So I'm wondering if that isn't part of it, but I will find rock salt. I will find a smaller one, ice cream salt, and do that. Okay.
Diane has been, as she said, she's the resident crafter around here. And it makes me kind of jealous, but it also is really good because as you can see, I tend to go in 92 different ways, and Diane does finish the project. And so this morning she was working on a couple of others. I'm going to have her show you the steps of making something the orb, show you the steps of making something that's been really kind of intriguing to our librarians that have recently seen it. So he's going to show you how to make a paper orb in some different steps here. It's going to be like cooking class where it's going to be steps magically appear in between.
I just happened to throw one of these in when we were doing our on the road, and I don't know how good you can see it. It has different. This one is made out of cardstock. This one with the sunflowers is made out of scrapbook paper. And then this one is made out of like cereal box cardboard. Okay, it looks really difficult. It's not. And we have the link on in our spreadsheet that we will share with you. It is called a paper orb template. And you can't see the lines very well, but there's 3 strips in here, and they have a little arc in 4 places on each strip. And you take your scoring tool or a blunt tapestry needle, anything that doesn't, and you just run that over the arcs. I don't have, well, I do have one done, but I've already cut it apart. And then you cut it into your 3 strips. Cut 3 of them, and I've already got it scored and kind of dented. Now, I don't like doing it in that order, but I did it. Okay. I'm going to come back here a little bit, and hopefully you can see this. I'm going to make a loop out of one, and it does have a mark where you're supposed to tape them. And of course, my tape is clear over here. These are printed out. I printed this one out on cardstock. If you're going to put it, whoops. If you're going to put it on, scrapbook paper, you're going to want to print out your template and tape it to the back of a piece of scrapbook paper. This one happens to have seahorses. Okay, so I've got one loop. I take another loop and put it in. And okay, I'm going to put it in, not through. Dang it. Okay, I'm going to make it first because I usually am working on a table. I'm not used to doing this stuff in the air. Okay, so I'm taping my second loop. And I'm going to put one inside the other so that it looks like yay. Okay. Now this one, I am going to go through. That way. And then through the other side. Okay, so it's through and through, and I'm going to tape that one. Maybe. And then gets the fun part. Okay, so you kind of have to line up your arcs that you have scored so that they're all, this is why I don't like doing this, because there we go. So that they're all on the outside. So all the little score marks are on the outside, and you basically just pinch them in. So they're just gonna, I don't know if I can show you.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Okay. There we go. It's getting there. So it pinches in. It's not pinching in. That's I did good. See? But you do all 6 of those scored arcs. Pinch them towards the inside. There we go. Now it's going. Oh, that one slipped. There it
I've
is.
never watched it being made. This is really cool.
And so I've got one more to do. And you just sit and play with it until you get all those scored marks together. So it is super simple. The first one I did was with cardboard, and I think it was the easiest to do. I love that the printed paper comes out really cool, but yeah, just tape your template to the back of your paper. And then that's the back side, or the printed side, and I just have it cut out and taped. Like I said, that pattern is in our drive. So enjoy. Neat adult craft teens I think somebody's done it with teens before and said they had a blast and they had all kinds of orbs. My cats actually have one of these that they play with, and they have batted it around and it's never come apart. It's gotten stepped on, but
I can see stringing those together and hanging them in front of something like the backdrop behind me. That was awesome, Diane. Thank you for being brave enough to show us how to do it, just like on the cooking shows. Magical happenings there. Hey, Diane. Hey, do you want to hear a joke? Diane doesn't want to hear a joke. Yes, I'm going to put a link in the drive. I'm actually going to take you there in just a second. But first, I have to ask Diane a joke. Maybe some of you know the answer.
I'll take a joke.
Okay, Sandy, what did the ocean say to the shore?
I got you, Diane.
Okay.
No, I'm saying that to Diane. I don't know, Patty.
Nothing.
Oh, wave.
Hey,
Sandy, thanks for having my back.
Hey, Sandy, where does a mermaid keep her money?
If I was a mermaid and I had money, I would have this really cool purse and it would have all these fins on it. But where does your mermaid keep her money?
In a riverbank. Where is the ocean the deepest?
Right beside me.
At the bottom. She's right. At the bottom. Okay. Oh.
Thank you, Sandy. That was the biggest laugh I've ever had out of Patty's jokes.
How do fish get to school?
In a
In
I don't
an
know.
octopus.
An octopus. Okay. I was going to say something about Mr. Grouper, but I couldn't think of all the rest of that.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to take you out to the Google Drive and show you all of this cool stuff here. We're going to go. That's not right. Here we go.
And we will share this link with you in the chat. And this will have all that we've talked about and more today. You'll have to just go in there and play.
Okay, so this is the outside screen where you'll find things like our mocktail recipes. So if you're looking to create a fun mixology program, we've tried a few of these. They have like First Space on the Beach and the Margarita. We recently found one at a bar that was called Sand in Your Bottoms, but we don't have that one in here yet. But we did find when we tested these that they all are missing a very important thing. They all need way a lot more simple syrup than we planned on. So these are out here for your fun viewing. And then I want to go back a page. And oh, we need to hide. And then here we go. I want to share. And then this is going to open up the actual Google Sheets. You see at the bottom of the screen, there are links to pages to a lot of different things. So the first page is craft ideas, and you see that we have dropped in the actual web links for you. This next one is just web links, and they're to things like the pirate and the mermaid name generator, the pirate translator. Oh, before I leave the mermaid and the pirate name generators, those things are great fun for in-house activities, but do keep in mind when you post those things out on the web that you're potentially setting people up to put in the things that might be their passwords, because I imagine if I would ask in this room somebody might raise their hand when they say that their kid's name or their dog's name might be part of a password. So keep that in mind, that we want to keep our patrons password security. So those things are really fun, but find ones that would only have things that would be, you know, birth month and name are pretty safe. But when you get into, you know, what year you were born and all those things get a little personal. You'll also see things for printables for dot markers, and links to Bobber the Water Dog is a water safety program presented by the Corps of Engineers. There's a few STEM things, and I want to stop on this very last one called Hold My Water. Water pods came from the Summer Library Program Manual. The pages are here. We were lucky enough to have the staff of the Great Bend Public Library Youth Department create a video for us. They actually did the process of creating the water pods, and it's using a couple of ingredients, sodium alginate and calcium lactate. Both items are available from Amazon, and they actually make these water beads, a water blob that actually holds water inside, and you can eat it or drink it. Diane attempted it and did okay, but we are so blessed that Haley made the actual video. It is a 5-minute video, and it is located here at Capwing. So that is available for you to use. And we do have the materials here at CKLS. They are a little pricey to create the project, but we could give you, CK Libraries, we could give you enough to give it a try. It can be a little pricey, but it's kind of a cool activity. And then some of our area partnerships are listed here. On the food and snack page, all you have to do is type in Ocean Party on Pinterest, and boy howdy, will you find a party. And then, oh, there's more here somewhere. Okay, so our fit. Oh, Diane is clicking and she's confusing me. So, but so you see that all of these are available to you, and just a matter of starting to swipe over, and you're going to pull up those pages. I also wanted to show you. Diane and I have share a Pinterest board. So we have, our board is 2022 Oceans of Possibilities, but underneath that board, we also have a ton of under the sea pages. So you're gonna find a bunch of ideas there. You'll find me under Pity Pat Collins. Scoot me over here so you can see. I am, my name will pop up as Patty Collins, but you'll see I'm at Pity Pat Collins. That's my official Pinterest board, and Diane is Diane Bott. And Diane just put a link to her, to our page. And then I am going to show you the other place where we drop a lot of our ideas. And throughout the summer, and it will begin soon, Diane and I throw stuff out on our CKLS pages. And so let me go to share. We like to interact with our librarians. So this is a Central Kansas Library System official page, and you'll know that you're on the right one as you'll see a sunflower. Diane and I share both library stuff and fun stuff on this page, and this is our official page. And then there's also a second page, which is CKLS Youth Services. And this is the one where all the fun stuff goes. Starting on April 1st, we drop in an activity or a link a week, all the way through summer. So you can see we post some kind of sweetie stuff. and some good messages. We do a lot of engagement games out here, so you can steal anything that you see out here. You're welcome to borrow for your own pages. Oh, and then get happy news like this, because it happens now and then. But stuff like this is pretty common. Kool-Aid, ice cubes, and Sprite or sparkling water makes the drink changes flavors as the ice melts. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff you'll find if you follow our pages. So that's how to communicate with us. We'd like to be your friends. And you will find on both of the CKLS pages that we do some things that are games for our member libraries. You're welcome to participate, but you can't win a prize if you're not one of our member libraries, unless we say it's open to anybody. So you do occasionally find that. Diana's still smiling. She must need a new joke. No?
Actually, I was going to thank Michael for sharing out all of our links. He has put several links in the chat, and I have put the link for our Pinterest board directly into the chat. Somebody had shared some stuff and I'm like, I can't find them. So go ahead. What's the joke?
There are two answers. It saw the ocean's bottom. And it also saw seaweed.
Okay,
with me. So a couple of things that are in the manual that we have not brought up before. On page 304 of the manual, there is the Morse code chart. Morse code bracelets are a lot of fun, and that's beads and pipe cleaners, stuff that doesn't cost anything, and it's minimal cost. It can be a passive program. They can send any messages that they want, but it's a good way to learn coding in a very simple form. One of my favorite activities in the manual on page 200 is the engineer challenge, building for hurricanes. Here's the chance for you to put your bits box up that has your pipe cleaners and your popsicle sticks and seashells and rocks. Have them build the bridge and use different mediums to see whether or not it can withstand the weight or rushing water. If you have that ability to do a big tote, a 6 or 8 inch deep tote, and to actually build the item inside and then pour water on it and see whether or not that bridge or levee can actually withstand. And that is one of the simplest activities that any library of any size can do, that's in the manual, that is true STEM, doesn't look like it. Okay, looks like it's time for questions.
and we had one about the diver in the bottle. I don't know if you could see it. Did you see him? See? Okay. When we were playing with this, we failed, I don't know how many times. And as you can see, we have 2 stuck down at the bottom, but we've been carrying this around and it's really gross. We've been carrying that around for a month. Use plastic bendy straws, and you have to, the top of your diver or jellyfish or whatever you're calling him has to be the bendy part. When you put it in the water, you have to have air in that bendy part in order for it to work. The other thing is we had the best luck with straight-sided bottles. We tried it in a curved bottle, or yeah, that does not work. These are a little steadier. I think this is that ice flavored water drink. Ooh, I'm swimming in the ocean again. But it took us a couple of times to get it to work. But yeah.
I also think your hands need to be able to get around that bottle. So if it's too large to be able to squish in, you're not going to get that air. And make sure that you have the pocket of air at the top. This is the best one and at one point she had all three of them diving. We believe that the other two have sank is because the rust on the paper clips.
Because that one actually
really
has,
gross.
that one actually has stuff growing on it, and that's good old Great Bend water. So I hope that helped. Anybody else have any questions?
Liz, Michael, read us some questions.
Yeah. We tried to catch them all. We have stuff we could just stay here all day and do this, and then we have 2 more workshops to do, but we could do it. We have enough stuff. We had a couple of things that we didn't get to, but that's okay. You guys are going to find so much stuff out there, and not just from us. You guys are, even if you just use 1 or 2 things out of the manual, it's okay. Like I said, you get on Pinterest, you're going to find so many things.
We did have a question from early on from Amy. She said, would doing an interactive movie night that falls within the ocean theme count as an SLP activity, staying within the confines of limitations of the movie license, of course?
So first off, I believe anything that happens from the day you start summer library till the day you end summer library, and that might be the last day of school and the first day of the next year, that's all summer library. You get to decide what that length of time is. That could be the length of time that you have people reading. So it might be June 1st to August 31st, and that may be the length of time people read. So that's what defines your summer library program year. Or it could just be the month of June, whatever works best for you. As long as you're following the confines of the movie license, and in CKLS's world, the movie license is currently provided. If you're following confines of the movie license and having the movie in the building as you're supposed to, you can add it in if you'd like. You don't have to, and it does not necessarily have to be themed. It can just be the summer movie series. So you don't have to, everything doesn't have to fit around a theme. And some of you, after you start doing this, may realize we don't really like this so much, and we want to do 2 weeks and then we want to do something else. You're not stuck to oceans because that happens to be the theme. As you're not stuck to Tales and Tales last year or All Together Now for next year. You can do what fits your community best. Somebody asked about what's the time period. So I would recommend that you give your community enough time to read. That may be 4 weeks, that might be 6, that might be 8, but give them time to do the reading portion of the program. Your activities might be once a week for 4 weeks or 6 weeks, or it might be, for some libraries, it might be all crammed into 1 or 2 weeks. I know some of our libraries in our area have children who leave to go to grandparents and are really gone for quite a while, or they are so busy with their farm work that they only have the 2 weeks at the very beginning of the summer because it's farm work, then it's fair, and then it's time to go back to school. So there's no right or wrong answer to that. If you want a recommendation from your youth consultant, please reach out to them. But the manual doesn't have any hard and fast guidelines, and neither do the youth consultants. So a lot of times you find that you think that you have problems that are limited to your library. And if I were to ask you all out today to rank your 4 biggest problems, I'm gonna get no more than 6 real answers. And they're gonna come to money, time, space, and people in some form or fashion. Because it doesn't matter how big we are. If you're Lawrence Public or if you're Randall, Kansas, and that's 60 people to 60,000, the same problems occur. And your library program has to match your community. And if you don't think you're doing enough, take that out of your thinking, because whatever you're doing is enough. If I were to ask you all to be in the room together right now, and I would say, so who's really comfortable being in a room with, it looks like 64 other people? Some of you might say, not so much. And some of you are like, oh yeah, bring it on. You also have to remember, it's the people walking in the door. Some of them are completely comfortable wearing a mask and some are not. Some are completely comfortable hugging and shaking hands and some are not. Don't judge yourself and don't compare yourself to the library down the road or to last year or to 2020 or even to 2019 or 18 when things looked different. You are you, this is this year. Give yourself a break. Your youth consultant, your library director, if you're not the director, and your fellow librarians, and most of all your community, can't expect more than you can actually give. Right now, libraries are in one of the highest burnout rates of library history. We're right up there with schools and healthcare, because we shut our doors for a very short period of time, but we have come back stronger and better and served more and more than we ever thought we possibly could. So I commend you for the work you do. And I have to be totally honest with you. It looks like we have a lot of fun at our jobs, and we're not going to lie and say that we don't, because we do. However, we don't do what you get to do. And that makes us sad every day, because we've spent our time doing the work that you do. And we want to know how amazing you are and how much we thank you for the work that you do for your communities. What else do you have for us?
I have a question. Lori Beth, we've had some questions about your shark. Can you talk to us?
Yeah, we have a hardware store just across the alley from us. And they had 2 boxes from a water heater. And so I took that and I'm making a cutout. Let's see if I can do this. So the kids put their faces in this hole here. So it's like,
oh my gosh, he's wonderful.
So he's pretty big. But anyway, so they'll put their face in here and take pictures and be a great photo op. And so, yeah, I just got the picture off of Google, and
that is great. I love that.
And and the paint that I got, I just went to the hazardous waste where they throw away stuff. Got all the colors I needed, so it didn't cost a penny. That's what's even best, right?
It did cost a penny though, Lori, the most important penny.
Right.
Your time.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we have to figure into the cost of whatever it is we do. The backdrops that are behind Diane and I were bought on purpose because Diane could have done the work to make them as beautiful as they are.
Right.
But frankly, we didn't have the dollars.
Right.
And so sometimes it's cheaper to spend $17 and buy the thing that's behind me.
Yeah.
But
it's not as much fun.
it is not as much fun. And if you have the time and you have the materials, that is just lovely. Thank you for sharing. That's just the best.
One of you said the hardware store and the water heater boxes. If you're and this sounds gruesome, but if you're lucky enough to have a funeral home in your town or nearby, those caskets do come in cardboard boxes. So there's another source for a really big cardboard box. I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying you can always ask.
We used to use refrigerator cardboard, but I never thought of casket box cardboard. So thank you, Diane. I think.
I heard that one at the last workshop you and I did, so it wasn't me. That one did not come from me.
We have put photographs of our display items in that the display section of that Google Drive as well. As some of you have seen some of those live, and because we toted them off to KLA, but we do have pictures and patterns for all of those. So if there's something that you see, we're happy to share those, because there's nothing that we've created that we think is that special. We're just happy to share because we enjoy this part of our work. Are there other questions you all have? As we said, we could spend all day with you, but we know you all have work to do. Michael, if you will capture the entire chat, please, and the attendee list, and you may end the recording.